And your thoughts on it. All the three papers are actually carrying the same story, although worded differently. Let me start with you, David Ohito. Is that because it's a big story, or is it because of the person behind the story making news? In this case, like Aaron Ochieng was saying, once Raila is on a paper, it makes headlines.
Yes and no. Yes, because I think we've been going far too much around this ICC issue for far too long, and when Raila, I think it got to him, and being the strategic politician I have covered for the last 20 years, he knew very well he was flying out to Korea and he wanted to leave Kenya burning with his name, and so throw the bomb,
throw something,
and get into the flight and go. And that is how he has kept the government, troops and his opponents gazing and eyeing all the time. So when he will be away, you will see the difference in terms of what sells in newspapers, in terms of the dry news content for some of us who work in the news desk, and you will see there's always a trend that if you are in the government or you are in the camp that is not aligned to Raila and you want to make news, just throw a word at him and then the editors will get hooked up.
They'll spin it. All right, Gavara, your take on it in terms of Raila being a newsmaker and also the weight of the story.
Well, it is undeniable that he is a newsmaker. I'm more concerned with why he is a newsmaker. And I think all the shenanigans now around who, quote-unquote, fixed Ruto, I think is really a diversion. I think it's very much us playing into the interests and fights within the political class and thinking that those are our issues that they're dealing with. I'm a bit disappointed.
When you say we, do you mean the media?
Yes.
But you can't ignore it. I mean,
I'm not saying you can ignore it, but I think you're giving it too much weight. And I think, in a sense, the press becomes captured by the politics of things rather than the issues of it.
How would it be done differently, given that really all we've done is literally report what has been said?
But this is the thing, is, I mean, let's look at the terminology first. So it's this idea of fixing. That's there. Nobody really explains what it means. Does it mean that people are saying that witnesses have been procured, that are fake witnesses, that whether it's Moses Kuria admitting that he did this, which is a crime? In which case, if I was in the press, I'd be quickly heading up to the ODPP and asking, why aren't these guys being arrested? Why aren't these guys being investigated? Because they're admitting felonies. The second thing is, I think the wider issue here again goes back to the whole idea of post-election violence and whether anybody is culpable for it. All we seem to hear is anybody who's accused is fixed, but not really. People were killed. We lost between 1,300 and 6,000 people, depending on who you listen to, But we still don't have anybody that we can say actually perpetrated this. It all seems to be up in the air, and we're more interested in the politics of it and how the issue is used politically by the likes of Raila and Kuria and the president, etc., but not really about the substance of what went on.
Right. But the substance of what he's saying is quite important. He's implying that these problems have been caused by somebody extremely close to the president, and what that means for the coalition is momentous. No wonder it's a front cover, so I'm not surprised that it would make news. The content of what he's saying is extremely important. Also, I think it also shows how now this issue, he has decided to frame it in a different way. Before, he was always reacting to accusations being made against him. Now he's the one who's thrown something out there, and now people are going to react to what he has said, which is important for him as well, because he's no longer reacting.
If I may ask, what is it that he has put out? Is he accusing the president of breaking the law?
No, he's accusing somebody close to the president.
So, yes, I mean, he's saying in his statement that Kuria was working in his office, and there's no way.
He's implying that the president.
And it's the thing is, we need to put it in black and white. What he is implying is not just about fixing somebody.
Yes,
it's about breaking laws. And this is what we need to focus on.
Which is why it's an important story, which is why it needs to be covered.
But look at how it's framed. It's framed really as a political issue.
So are you saying, Gadara, that looking at it how it is framed, we are making it lighter than it really is?
Yes, I think we are looking, as I said, at the politics of things, not the substance of it. If it's a substance, really we should be banging down the doors of the ODPP.
Naturally.
Why are you not investigating these people? These allegations, these confessions, if you will call them that, by Kuria, have been out in the media for a while, saying, I procured witnesses. I paid them.
I think the other bigger statement Raila is making there is that even the office of DPP is such a partisan and political one, and can choose to go after some politicians who made statements at a political rally, and not people who are really involved in crimes that have attracted or have made Kenyans to appear before the International Criminal Court. Two is saying that there is a lot of political influence on this case, and he said it very clearly at one point when he offered to be a witness on Ruto's side. Every other person was saying no. Why are they turning around just after a few months saying, now tell us what you know, what difference has happened between when he said and offered evidence or volunteered to stand in as a witness? So I think the media, we either playing lightly, I agree, and just regurgitating what has been said before, and just adding a little context that just because the statement was released yesterday. But if you ask me, we should be dealing with what happened to victims, what happened to people who are uprooted from their homes, who have never returned more than 5 years later on. How do we go about healing the nation? If I had land in Sugoi or in the neighborhood, and my land, I was thrown out of my house, am I capable of going back to live there? What happens to women who were raped? What happened to families who lost members? So I think again we've been deflected into the politics and left the core issues.